Yeah, it was a challenge at that time to put, especially at that time, it was like 1979. It was a challenge to find an all-women big band to put together. There were some very fine players and several who had played in the 1940s in the big band era, in the women's big bands. The Sweethearts of Rhythm was an amazing all-women band that these women played, the band that they played in.
So I'm
Um,
surprised that big bands is even something that's a thing now. I thought that everything was so expensive, and but from talking to you, it sounds like big bands are still kind of alive and well.
they are alive. Of course, it's been harder with the pandemic. There are clubs around LA. I just just a little while ago saw an email that somebody I know is playing with the John Diversa Big Band at the Baked Potato, which is in Studio City. Vitello's, Vibratos. There are a couple places that still have big bands.
How much can the average music composer expect to make through the course of a year?
Wow, that is just uh, some people who are starting out might do student films and things like that. Oh my gosh, it's just all over the place as far as different budgets. Unfortunately, a lot of times the budget for music is last when they're like, "Oh no, no music left, no money left." Um, I just completely varies, but it is best as you get more into it um, to charge your worth and not, make people think that you can get scores for free or something. And I actually have a composer's agent, and he's always saying, "Well, gosh, if someone just uses library music or something, it's might work, but a composer, I mean, this is written very very specifically to your project." Um, yeah, it's a composer working on a project, and live musicians playing are just it's really great.
Well, we talked about video games,
Yeah.
of course, film, television. What are other avenues out there where a composer can earn income?
Well, I do a lot of musical theater. Musical theater, though, it depends. If I'm working on composing a show, sometimes in those a lot it's collaborating, and then if the show makes it, then so that's more of a collaboration in creating the work. But sometimes I have orchestrated, arranged, accompanied, even accompanied, music directed musicals. I've tended to mostly, if I've worked on other people's musicals, performances, I've worked on other people's mostly original musicals. I haven't conducted or played for as many standard repertoire. I've played more for original shows and helped people bring um, uh, their uh, project to fruition. I know many years ago someone asked me through a friend of mine. He wasn't interested, but he said, "Oh, his cousin or uncle or something was writing their first musical." And at the time, I was busy with some other projects, so I thought, well, I won't take it on. And I said, "Well, if you ever, need orchestration, arranging, or something," and this person really wanted. It was the only show they ever wrote, but um, they really wanted it to get out there, and so it took him a few years, but he found a young singer songwriter in England who wrote the songs, did a great job. It's more kind of a popish score, sort of. And I transcribed every note, I wrote out every piano arrangement, and then orchestrated. And he wanted, yeah, we recorded with a 15-piece orchestra and all of the songs. And I remember at the time saying it's a little bit early to be recording, in the sense that a musical, a film, when it's done, it's done. But musicals are always, even right when you're rehearsing right up to opening night, there are always little tweaks and changes. But yeah, so we recorded that, and then about 2 years later, we did a couple of weeks at the which one? El Portal Theater in North Hollywood, and yeah, so I took those 15-piece orchestrations and I reorchestrated for 8, and then we realized the size of the theater. We 6, so I had 6 piano, bass, drums, violin, cello, and flute. And the original orchestrations had 3 woodwinds, 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, string quartet, and piano, guitar, bass, drums. So, yeah, and that worked really well. Unfortunately, this person knew they had health issues, and they did pass away a few years after, not that long after they had the opening in 2012 here in LA.